It is a lovely November day in Ohio. I mean, it kind of feels like Texas. It shouldn't be this freaking warm out. What is it, 62 degrees? It definitely feels warmer than 62. But, man, I'll tell you what, it's nice. I'm liking this. And they say global warming is bad. Global warming extends out riding season. You know, moving back to Ohio, I was always kind of worried about how cold it got here, because I hate cold weather. We were living down in Texas for, I think, about 3 years. We lived down there. You know, kind of lived in multiple places across the United States for a while, but one of my favorites was Texas. Oddly enough, my other favorite was Nebraska. Now, it got cold there, but that was just a cool place. But, yeah, Texas was awesome. I remember riding to my aunt's house, because actually where we ended up moving to, my aunt and uncle lived like 20 minutes away from us. So we would go over there for Christmas and Thanksgiving and all that. And I remember riding to my aunt and uncle's house on Christmas. It was like 80 degrees. It was awesome. But man, I miss Texas. That place was great. That was fun. I liked it down there. I like the fact that like everyone rode a motorcycle in Texas. I mean, you would just, you know, there was an abundance of group rides to go on if you wanted to. And if you like to go solo, they had some crazy nice roads to just go cruising on by yourself. But I used to go out with all of like all the stunt boys doing all their crazy wheelies, and I was never very good at it. I looped out a few times and kind of was just like, screw it, I'm out. I could never get like I could get to balance point. My problem was I couldn't keep it at balance point. I would just keep on going back on over and then on my back. I was never very good at it. So the harshest one was I looped out and I landed square on my knees. That freaking hurt. But it was so cool going on those rides like that and just watching all these guys do all their wheelies and all the crazy stuff that they would do. And I mean, there'd be groups of like 100 people or more sometimes. Everyone doing stunts. Well, I shouldn't say everyone, but like the majority doing stunts. And then there's a handful of people like me who weren't doing stunts, and we were just along for the ride having some fun. You know, go out to a restaurant or something, you know, we'd all meet up at a gas station, ride out somewhere. There was quite a few times though when there was like an extraordinary amount of people. You know, there was no restaurant we were going to. It was literally just everyone meet at a gas station, we'll go on the ride, and we're going to take a loop around the city, and then we're going to come on back to the gas station, because there's just too many people to go to like a restaurant. But smaller rides, you know, they go to like restaurants and stuff like that, and those were always a lot of fun. I remember one time, actually this was their Halloween ride they were doing one time, and like all these people were dressed up on their bikes. It was pretty cool. We didn't have any costumes, but my buddy had like a few onesies and like the helmet cover whatchamajiggets with the eyeballs on top of them, you know. We wore those, and I took out my Harley for that one. I was like, I'm gonna take the Harley out because this just looks absolutely ridiculous. So I want the bike to not match this at all. So I took out my Harley with ape hangers on it, wearing a onesie and a helmet sock with eyeballs on top. But that one, God, there was a lot of people on that one. That one got a little out of hand. We ended up breaking off from the group just because of the amount of cops that showed up. We saw one cop come up. We were kind of towards the back, and really I don't think they were necessarily trying to pull people over at the beginning. I think they were just, you know, trying to get them out of that particular city. And we saw one come up, and I mean, he drove right past us. He got all the way over in the left lane, and he drove right past us. He was basically just trying to run us out. And then we saw another, and then another, and then another. And at that point, we decided to break off from the group. You know, there was no cops at the time that were directly behind us. They were all kind of in the middle and up in the front trying to slow everyone down or run them out, whatever they were trying to do. And so we broke off just because it got a little too hectic for us, and since we were in the back and there were no cops back there, we were able to break away without anyone like chasing us down. So we just went back to the apartment complex. It was me and a group of my friends. We went back to my apartment complex. We ended up finding out because one of the guys had called one of my friends on the Cena whatever, and he goes, "Hey man, are you still with the group? It's getting kind of crazy. They got helicopters up on us now. There's probably 20 police officers out here." And you know, he told him we had broken off from the group, and we found out that they were coming back up the same way that we went down. Rather than taking a whole loop around the city, they came whatever the shortest route was, trying to get back up, and kind of expecting the police to leave them alone at a certain point, and they did. And then we look over, and the interstate wasn't all that far away from our apartment, and we saw two helicopters hovering over, well, not hovering over the interstate, but, you know, flying over the interstate. And they're like, oh, there they are. So sometimes they'd get a little crazy. We had another ride where we went into right through the middle of downtown Dallas, which was really dumb. And then all these guys like joined in who were on quads and dirt bikes. Whenever those guys show up, it's time to break away. And that's exactly what we did, because those guys will do everything they can to try to get in as much trouble as they can, and then try to evade the potential trouble. It's almost like they see it as a game. It's also the fact that, you know, they don't have any license plates or anything like that, so they don't really care. Well, they had the highway patrol come into downtown to try to help out. Apparently, highway patrol in Texas does not care, because after we broke off, we heard about them taking their SUVs and ramming right into the side of the guys on quads and dirt bikes, and just, yeah, they're basically running into them to get them off of the bikes, the vehicles, the quad, whatever they were on, ramming into the side of them, and then just arresting them right there on the street. Oh, speaking of state highway patrol, there's one pulling out of the driveway down there. Oh, he's right behind me. I know what to do. Setting my cruise. It's probably somebody I know. Oh look, there's a pooper in there. I should have gone. Get up here to the green Challenger, cause I'm green too. And we're gonna go get some fitness time. Hope it's not too busy. Probably will be. I'm always very surprised by how busy this place is, like in the afternoon when usually everyone's at work. Actually, it doesn't look too bad today. There we go. Now my back's freaking sore after driving all day today. Oh, I need gas. I just got gas. Well, I see a biker boy coming up behind me. It's green. I think it's a 400. I think it might have been one of the new 400s. Maybe a 600, but it looks small. Well, I was going to try to catch up to him, but I don't know where he went. What was I talking about before? Oh yeah, Texas. I miss Texas. It's such a great place. We lived in North Richland Hills, right outside of Fort Worth. But that's where we lived at, and it was nice. It was real nice. I tell you what, boy, it was real nice. So we always have like these get-togethers too. You know, we had a pretty big group of friends out there. And we always had like these real big get-togethers, you know, cook up, you know, a lot of food, drink a lot, an extraordinary amount. One of our buddies, he was obsessed with doing shots. I don't even think he drinks anymore. I think he gave up drinking altogether, but he would just throw back shots and shots only. That's all he did. He didn't mix it with anything. He didn't chase it with anything. He didn't drink any beer. Dude just did shots. Every single time we would get together, y'all want to do shots? Like, no, dude, we don't want to do shots. Sounds freaking awful. He was always, you guys want to do shots? And he'd talk us into doing maybe 2 shots for a night. One great time that we had the big get together, had a bunch of people over. We're all eating, drinking, and then drinking, and then drinking, and drinking. Somehow we all end up in the garage working on a motorcycle. Don't know why. I don't even remember what bike it was. At that point we had like 9 motorcycles in the garage. And I think they just started working on one of them. We all went down there. And then we had a mattress in the garage from the spare bed. And it was, you know, a clean mattress, but we didn't know what to do with it, so we kind of just threw it in the garage. We ended up throwing it away because we didn't know what to do with it, and eventually, after like holding on to it in the garage for a couple years, it's like, all right, now it's a dirty mattress and it's gross, so we threw it away eventually. But it was still clean at this point, so me and this other guy laid down the mattress on the floor, so we had something to sit down on. I don't remember much after that. I just remember waking up on the mattress in the garage. All the lights were on. My buddy was asleep on the mattress right next to me as well. The garage door was open, wide open. You know, this was an apartment complex, so right outside of our garage door was a parking lot. And it was like 4 o'clock in the morning. And my wife was like, what were you guys doing last night? I was like, I mean, me and him? Nothing. I don't think. I don't know. I think we just passed out. Because we did like 2 or 3 shots with the one guy. And then I probably drank 10 beers that night. I mean, this was over the course of like 8 hours of hanging out. So I probably drank like 10 beers and did like 2 or 3 shots. So I was feeling pretty lit. Yeah, we just kind of passed out in the frickin' garage. Good times in Texas. There's a lot of barbecues too down there. Everything in Texas, from what I noticed from living down there, everything revolves around food. I mean, like, it seems like most places, like, you know, everyone wants to do get-togethers and it involves like food. But like, okay, in Ohio, it involves food, but it can be anything. It doesn't even have to be good food, as long as there's food. In Texas, dude, it's gotta be good food. Has to be good food. There's no option for crappy food in Texas. If you have crappy food, get out of the party. If you can't cook, don't cook food. Bring beer. Bring liquor. Good to go. But my wife can cook. She made these pulled pork sandwiches we were all obsessed with. Now she does those these like homemade wings. None of like the stuff that she would cook for the boys down in Texas, our big get-togethers, none of the stuff was like healthy food by any means, but it was the weekend, so who cares? We were having a good time and making poor decisions anyway. That's what the weekends are for. Like, I eat healthy Monday through Friday. I meal prep. This week I have salmon for lunch, so that way I can continue driving and roll down my window and get the smell of salmon out of my truck. And then for dinner I have steaks. There's no butter, everything's cooked in olive oil, just pretty plain and simple seasoning, not very flavorful, but it works. That's what I've got for the week. I'll probably do something better next week, but I kind of had to slop it together this week because I ran out of time. But weekends come around, I tell you what, I'm throwing back beers, I'm eating fried food, I'm eating sandwiches, doing all kinds of things that I don't do during the week. You know, during the week it's like water and, well, Celsius. Drink a lot of those Celsius drinks. So it's water and Celsius basically, and then usually either chicken, steak, or salmon is pretty much all I eat. Pretty bland, pretty plain. I try to season it up the best that I can, but it is what it is. I'm pretty sure that's the reason why I lost 35 pounds. So I'm gonna continue to do it because it just works. Also, it's relatively cheap. I'm not getting like New York strips or anything like that. Just getting top sirloin, cheap steaks. But anyway, maybe I can tell some more stories about other places that I've lived at. I enjoy a good reminisce. I enjoy reminiscing. Say I lived in a few other states, so I can tell some rando stories. I think Texas was definitely the most eventful one for sure. I don't know, Nebraska was pretty eventful too. Anyway, that's pretty much all I got. So, I love you, bye.